and education systems and restore integrity to our immigration system.
Good morning, Minister. Thank you very much for these concrete steps. It will really help. The question is not only for the newcomers, those people who are settled here for 10, 20 years, the exploitation is going for them also. So there is a trend going on in the industry. I don't know whether you are aware. If not, just let us know. We will present in front of you what employers are doing. First, they are doing a misclassification. They are not treating their employees as employees. They are treating as a self-contractor, not only in trucking industry, but in offices also, not giving them wages. And after considering them self-employed, they are holding their wages for approximately 3 months. It's going on here, especially in the Peel region, and maybe in BC also. Across Canada, this is going on. So government has put two tools: insolvency proposal, consumer proposal, and a bankruptcy, and businesses are using that after holding the wages of the workforce. Yesterday we were with 100 truck drivers on the call. They were on roads. Their wages were holded for 3 months, and the company stopped their operations, so they are safe. The sufferers are the workers. Being a minister, what actions you had taken? Is that in your knowledge? Or what action will you take in the legislation to safeguard the interest of the workforce so that their single day wage is also paid?
Thank you. A few things for that. I appreciate the question. One, in previous Working for Workers, a lot of this exists through temporary help agencies and movement there, and we've required a licensing regime that's now in regulation, been prescribed through regulation to crack down on this. We are aware of these stories, and my colleague Minister Sarkaria has also implemented additional measures in the trucking sector to crack down on that. Today we're cracking down on bad actors because we know a lot of these people are exploited through bad actor immigration consultants. But I have to draw, there's a root cause to all of this. And the root cause is a broken system that has left this reality to exist, and the failures of that system exist at the very grassroots local level. It's felt by Mayor Chow in Toronto. It's felt by Mayor Brown here in Brampton. So we're constantly dealing with these on-the-ground challenges which exist from an immigration system that's been broken federally, and so we're selling false bills of, false hope to people in this economy. And who suffers when we're seeing these jobs for cash, etc.? We've got many men and women who get up every day, who work in the union, non-union trades, who pay taxes on their income, employers who do right by their workers. We're doing a disservice to all of that when we allow this to propagate. So, as I said today, we're cracking down through our tools. We have a blueprint here for success. You heard about how good our Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program is. We need the federal government to strengthen the integrity of the federal system.
But can you bring the legislation that employer cannot hold the wages of a self-contractor or employee?
Yeah, that's illegal. Withholding wages is illegal.
Is legal?
Is illegal.
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 Thank you. My follow-up is, looking at the recent mainstream and community media headlines, it's an open secret that many employers, especially here in the GTA, are abusing the Ontario PNP program by charging huge amounts for fake payrolls, which is called payroll cycling. It's going on since a long time. And getting under the table to facilitate shady paperwork to secure provincial nominee, which you already mentioned. It is alarming to see that many of the employers who are involved in wage theft, especially in trucking sector and other sectors also, the same, they are benefiting from PNP program. Why there is no enforcement activity deployed to stop this abuse for last so many years, because already the workforce has been exploited? Thank you.
Yeah, again, today we're implementing the toughest standards around immigration consultants. We're also implementing lifetime bans for those who are fraudulent. These are scumbag scammers who are scamming people, and you've heard the real life impact. For some, it's life and death. And so we're getting tough on them. We'd love to see this blueprint emulated at the federal level and see a restoration of integrity in the system.
Minister, tell us about today's steps which Ontario government is taking so that the newcomers' exploitation can be stopped.
Yeah, today we're protecting those people by getting tough on scumbag bad actors, immigration consultants that profit off their selling a mirage, an illusion, and profiting off of that. So we're taking steps to implement standards for immigration consultants. They have to have things like contracts in place. They have to identify themselves, provide access to Oinp files for applicants, and we're implementing fines, and we're taking steps to kick people out of the system, those consultants who've broken that trust, that confidence. Their day in Ontario is done, and we may go as far as giving them a lifetime ban if they do some of the heinous things we hear, like withholding passports, things like leading people into exploitative situations of trafficking, etc. That can't be Canada. That's not my Canada, that's not your Canada, and that's, most importantly, not the Canada anyone seeks when they seek to come here.
So how will you make sure that enforcement is proper? Because we have the laws now also, but enforcement is missing. How will you make sure that enforcement is there?
We will ensure and take steps to protect whistleblowers in the system, those who've been exploited, so that they can come forward, so that we can identify these bad actors. We have Tough Employment Standards Act officers and Occupational Health and Safety Act officers. We've brought on new enforcement officers over the summer, and we're sending a very tough message, and we're calling on the federal government to restore integrity to the system and to take that blueprint of success that we've got here and to take tough action federally.
There are many small one-room colleges, mom and pop colleges. They are operating across Canada. And our students, they are not attending that. They are doing virtually still. We are not in COVID. So how can you make sure that those students are not exploited by these mom and pop colleges and they are not stopped yet, as Premier before said?
Well, exactly. I mean, we will crack down on those bad actors and make sure that they don't operate in our province. But those students, the reason they're able to have a cohort of people is because the federal government issues those visas. So the federal government has to get real on that process. They have to make sure it's a process and system with integrity. We've said that whatever, when they want to take tougher measures and whatever measures they want to take, we'll be there to support. But it starts with their leadership. And, sadly, it's a system that's been broken by them, and now they want to fix it. And we'll be there to fix it with them. But it requires their leadership.
Minister, the final question, the wage theft and wage delays are going on,
Yes.
which is against the labor laws.
Yeah.
So we have seen not only the newcomers are exploited, but the old people, like those who are settled here since long, they are being exploited. Their wages are being holded. Misclassification, as a contractor also, wages are being holded for 3 months,
Yes.
and they stop the operations. How can you make sure that our workers' rights are protected?
Absolutely. I mean, it starts by having tough measures in place in law and in legislation, fines and penalties. But we know, and you touched on the stories, that's not enough alone. You've got to enforce it. And not only that, when a lot of these cases get prosecuted in the courts, we are at the mercy of judicial decisions that sometimes take light penalization on bad actors. So again, we'll be introducing, stay tuned, measures that will require mandatory minimums for certain penalties and offenses on workplace. And I'll leave no stone unturned when it comes to protecting those workers. And I'm working with Ministry of Finance and others on collections to make sure those who've ever had wages withheld from them are given the justice and the wages that they deserve.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you very much. So Ontarians can make sure that it's your promise to them that their workforce wages can't be held more than few days by the employers. Because that's
absolutely. We're a province that when you get up in the morning, you want to put in a hard day's work, you'll be reimbursed for that work. And we have to have a system whereby, it's above board, people are paying taxes, etc. And so those bad actors, most employers do things the right way. Most employers recognize that an economy that doesn't work for workers doesn't work at all, and that you have to have a healthy and safe workplace. We've taken very aggressive measures to ensure that. But I mean, you asked what more will I do? The the answer is I'll never stop when I hear these stories of injustice, and I'll continue to work to restore justice for workers.
Mr. Thank you very much, and Ontarians will be looking forward for these tough
Thank
measures.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For having
Thank you.
me.
And thank you, Minister Piccini, for looking at ways to protect the most vulnerable from some very unscrupulous actors in the sector. And we need more regulations in this area. And so I think what you're going to hear about today is a minister who is leaning in to make sure that newcomers are not taken advantage of by unscrupulous immigration consultants. And so thank you, Minister Piccini, for your leadership and always being here to stand